Vitor, I'm just going to get this one out of the way because it needs
Are
to
you
be
ready?
asked. It needs to be asked.
Just don't ask me two questions. Are you ready? How you
Yeah.
feeling? You have extra tickets.
No,
Tell me. Okay.
none of
Well,
those.
thank
None
God.
of those. My question is, of course, things can happen and you've left that door open, but to this point, are we still calling this your retirement fight?
I'm not retiring because when you retire, you're still
Yeah.
getting paid. I'm not getting paid, so I'm not retiring.
Okay.
But that's
good
my
point.
last fight. That's important because people say, well, okay, what's the legacy you're leaving? Legacy is not what I did for myself, it's what
Yeah.
I'm doing for the next generation. So I think I leave one of the biggest legacy in the sport for sure, worldwide. And I'm not retiring because I'm not getting paid after I finish. So I'm looking for jobs, I'm looking for opportunities. But that's my last fight for sure. And I'm very content with what I accomplished in the sport. But I still believe I can contribute so much with the sport. And I love what UFC is doing, you know, creating the institute, creating all that. But we have so much to do.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you have so much, you know, a resource, but you got to have the brains.
Yeah.
Remember that sometimes in life you need both. You need money and brains. And I think now we need people to help make changes for what's coming.
Yeah.
So the barriers that we need to break is going to the Olympics. Okay, what we got to do.
Yeah.
So example, I have a question for you and for everyone. Do you know who make the rules for you for MMA?
What do
Who
you
create
mean?
the rules?
The person?
Yeah, who create the rules? It's important for everyone to know who are the groups or the committee that create the rules.
Yeah.
Because
Transparency.
we need to know. We know
Yeah.
which was this guy, was this. Okay, who are they? And what we need to redo it to
Yeah.
go to the next phase. So volleyball changed some rules and become so popular volleyball. So I think we are on the point to go to the Olympics. We're gonna have to adapt. But if we create another rules, we cannot become like boxing because that's what makes NBA so attractive because people go to the Olympics, they know they're gonna see Kobe Bryant, they know they're gonna. So we wanna go to the Olympics and we wanna see the legends in the Olympics. We don't, so many things we have to do to, and I love what UFC is doing with the Institute. I kind of see what they're doing, creating the data, helping the athletes. But we still, athletes, they don't get paid to train. They only get paid to fight. So we are entertainers.
Yeah.
We're not athletes.
Got it. Since you touched on that, you said one word yourself, retirement. It's not retirement since you're not getting paid.
So
is it something that
it's
also
important
part
for
of
people
that?
to understand.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes, remember, you know, I always make these jokes. I think God made a mistake, you know, put me not in America, you know, born in 77 in America. I think I will become, you know, because that's the dream of the land. You see what people can do in America. Unfortunately, in Brazil, it's not easier. It's much tougher. It's a third world country, and we still struggle. But in America is the land of opportunity, and everyone that goes there, they rebuild it and they redo it. So my idea is I went there when I was young, but I didn't have the experience I have today. So today I have
Mm-hmm.
major experience. I read so many books. I did so many courses. So I expand my ability to think and to rationalize and to be rational and to be, okay, you know, it's by the feeling. So I kind of see where we can go.
Yeah.
But when you don't have the power to accomplish that, because that's what I believe, we need to be more like ants and less like tigers. So the difference between two animals, ants, they work together in a group and they're going to accomplish big things. So where we want, what we want to accomplish, and that's a very important questions. And I really believe that I see the sport so major that it's just hard to describe the way I see it. But I believe sooner or later I will be able to contribute more than what I did. So I'm excited.
It's interesting because every fight week when we talk to you, it's we don't really talk about the fight that much because you always have so many ideas and so many plans and you're thinking so many things.
But thinking about, if I'm sitting down here talking about what I'm going to talk, are you ready?
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we're not going to ask for tickets. No, but you know,
I'm attending.
Yeah,
I have my seat.
So I think people are going to be interested to see this interview because they don't see just the fighter. And I think that's the importance to understand.
No, absolutely. But like, how do you, like, it seems like your brain is always processing so much, right? How is it for you to kind of like focus on all the things that you want to achieve and all the things that you do effectively and on your training and in your fight? Like, how do you balance it all out?
It's just like example. My first priority is my kids and my wife, so my family. So I always say I want to contribute to a world better. So how I can do it is raising good kids, raising kids with values, and understand that society, people think differently. They have different beliefs, different genders. So how I can raise these kids to bring to society change? You know, I dream with my kids, okay, what about you can bring the cure for cancer? So I just make them dream, you know, okay, what you can do to change politicians. My son loves, you know, politicians, and he say, Dad, and what do you change? What do you change for make people not die for starvation? So I love to process, not just, and that's who I am. So when time to train, here I'm not training, I'm not fighting, I'm here, I'm talking. So you ask me questions that it's interest for them, because if we're here talking to the fight, just the fighter, okay, what about now? So I'm done with my career, so I'm not gonna be fighting, so I'm gonna work as a bouncer. That's what people, I believe when I start my career, one of my uncles said, Victor, what are you doing with your life? You should do law. What are you going to do? You want to become a bouncer. That's how they think.
Yeah.
So you're thinking about Mark Zuckerberg drop out of school. Oh, what are you going to do now? You're going to be just these tech kids? So if the guys that never search and go for the dream and don't be a thinker, don't be a doer, because you can think and not do it. So I think the doers. And I think that's who I am, you know.
And it's interesting because you take a very pragmatic approach to things, but you also seem very like emotionally invested in them as well.
Yeah, because you got to work with passion.
Yeah.
You know, if you see the story of Bill Gates, that guy with passion. You know, Steve Jobs, passion. You know, Mark Zuckerberg, passion. Warren Buffett, passion. You know, you name it. All of them passion. Dana White, passion. Lorenzo, passion. So successful people, if they don't work with passion and beliefs, when difficulty comes, they give up. So Roosevelt, one of the greatest presidents America has, passion, you know. And you name it, the leaders. Martin Luther King, so much passion. You know, Beatles, passion. Opera, passion. People that change the world is the people that embrace, think out of the box. Yeah. So I think you can see me one of this generation that think out of the box. So I'm glad to be a doer and a thinker.
That's it. Whenever you bring up these examples, you're always talking about these guys who accomplish great things, not just in whatever it is that they did, right? Like for the world. Like, do you think about that for yourself? Like, okay, you have this legacy in fighting, and nobody can take that away from you because it's done.
But that's the thing, because I don't know if they know what legacy is, because when you talk about legacy, it's what they leave for the next generation. It's not what you did for myself. So example, legacy, like let's give an example. Okay, legacy is not how many titles you have. Example, Floyd Mayweather, what's the legacy he lives for the sport? It's not being undefeated. That's not his legacy. That's his career. Legacy, what he's doing for the next generation that comes along. Oh, I paved that, I did that. Now it's for you to go and benefit from this, what I did. So example, talking about terms of politicians. Politicians serve 4 years of government. What's the legacy usually a politician leave for the next guy, even if he's going to go to re-election again? What's the legacy? They live in debts. They did something better. So that's for me is legacy. So it's very important for people to understand legacy is not my career, is not my accomplishment, it's what I left for the next generation.
It's a big occasion for you, right? It's your final fight, and in a place like this, and with a guy who you really seem to respect a lot. It's a big fight for Brazilians. So like I said, a very pragmatic guy, but do you think that, does that make you emotional? Do you think about the emotion that the emotional moment that this might be?
No, I think it's that I'm taking it all in, you know, I'm enjoying the process. So I like what Gustavo was saying to me, what's the best thing in the movie since the beginning and the end? It's not even the beginning, it's not even the end. It's the whole thing, it's the whole history. It's the point of A to point B. So it's not the point, it's what is between A and B. So the fight's gonna happen Saturday, you know. I'm ready, I'm prepared, Lyoto's ready, prepared. The fans will be there. So what about enjoy it every second, you know, when I'm talking, when I'm waking up, when I'm cutting weight. So many things I have to do to Saturday. So why not take it a day? So people is always trying to anticipate tomorrow. No, live today. And I have a quote that I always said, you know, the yesterday is a canceled check, tomorrow is a promissory note, today's cash on hand. So doing today your best, you know. Who knows who's gonna wake up tomorrow? Maybe you are talking to someone right now that want to take his life away. Oh man, my life cannot. You know, who told you you done? Who told you cannot accomplish? Who told you this failure is the end? Maybe it's the beginning. Look what failure represent for these great thinkers. Failures represent success, and the problem is what people are putting pressure in themselves. The failure is a bad thing. No, I celebrate failures with my kids. I always ask them, okay, tell me something you failed today. Let's see how we can make it better. So I want to make them understand. And for example, today David is going to start his preseason football. He's a QB quarterback. And I said, David, why do you think in football they have four down? Why they have 4 tries, the quarterback? Why is not just 1 try? It's because he has 4 chances to make 1. And then he had it again. And then he have it again. And we have an example of Tom Brady. He's an example of never giving up. And then he can change a game with 1 play. In basketball, the same thing. 1 play. So why not in life, you know? Why not in fighting? Why not in cooking? Why not in whatever endeavor you choose? You can be successful. And remember, success is not how much money you have.
Yeah.
Success about values, what you bring in, what you're nurturing people around you, what you're nurturing people, you know, close to you. So I think my perspective of success is not just having power and have authority or having the power of the pen. It's what you're doing for the people that is not even close to you, but they can nurture. Like this interview, how much I'm giving to them, yeah. How much we are giving to them, not me because you're here. So how much we are giving to the people that we're maybe talking to the future president of any country, or maybe you're talking
to... But no pressure.
Yeah, but you know, that's the beauty, you know, yeah. Point A and point B, just enjoy the journey.
Leslie, so on Sunday when you wake up, like one thing you know, like you won't be Vitor the fighter.
Why not?
You still be Vitor the fighter?
Always. Yeah. Because I'm going to take whatever endeavor I'm doing. Victor is a fighter. Victor is a guy who's never giving up. Victor is a guy who can see opportunity, see optimism. Okay, let's go try one more time. You know, no, let's not back down. You know, let's just find another way. I think fighting, it's in my DNA wherever I go.